100 years ago, in the early 1900s, a new industry was taking shape. Nestled in the heart of sunny California, Hollywood began to emerge as the hub of American filmmaking. From silent films to talkies, black and white to Technicolor, Hollywood's early days were a time of innovation and experimentation. It was here that the first 20 films that would shape the course of cinema were born. The first film ever made in Hollywood was D.W. Griffith's In Old California in 1910. A silent film, it marked the beginning of Hollywood's long and illustrious history. This short film, though simple in its storytelling, opened the floodgates for future filmmakers. Following closely was The Squaw Man in 1914, directed by Oscar Apfel and Cecil B. DeMille. This film holds a special place in Hollywood history as the first feature-length film produced in Hollywood. The year 1915 saw the release of The Birth of a Nation, a controversial film by D.W. Griffith. Despite the controversy surrounding its racial themes, it is undeniably a milestone in film history for its innovative storytelling techniques. In 1916, Intolerance graced the silver screen. This epic film, again by D.W. Griffith, was a response to the criticism of his previous film. It was a bold experiment in parallel storytelling, weaving 4 separate narratives into one. Next came The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari in 1920. This German expressionist film, directed by Robert Wiene, had a significant influence on Hollywood cinema, introducing the world to the concept of psychological horror. 1922 brought us Nanook of the North, directed by Robert J. Flaherty. This film is often considered the first feature-length documentary telling the story of an Inuk man in the Canadian Arctic. In 1925, The Gold Rush arrived, a silent comedy film starring the legendary Charlie Chaplin. The film's unique blend of comedy and pathos made it a hit and cemented Chaplin's place in Hollywood. 1927 was a landmark year with the release of The Jazz Singer. Directed by Alan Crosland, this film marked the transition from silent films to talkies, changing the course of cinema forever. Then came Steamboat Willie in 1928, an animated short film by Walt Disney. This film introduced the world to Mickey Mouse, a character who would become a cultural icon. The 1930s saw the release of films like All Quiet on the Western Front, Dracula, Frankenstein, King Kong, and The Thin Man. These films, each unique in their own way, continued to shape the landscape of Hollywood cinema. All Quiet on the Western Front, in 1930, directed by Louis Milestone, brought the horrors of war to the big screen, while Dracula and Frankenstein, both released in 1931, introduced audiences to the thrills of the horror genre. King Kong, released in 1933, showcased the power of special effects, and The Thin Man in 1934, directed by W.S. Van Dyke, brought wit and sophistication to the detective genre. In conclusion, these first 20 films made by Hollywood were not just films, they were milestones, each contributing to the evolution of cinema. They were the pioneers that paved the way for the blockbusters we know and love today. From silent films to talkies, from black and white to Technicolor, from drama to comedy, these films showcase the breadth and depth of what cinema can achieve. Hollywood in its early days was a place of innovation and creativity, a place where the magic of cinema came to life.